Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on a wheel. This one's on top, then that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground. I'm not going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back once again. My name is Jordan, also known as JMonster. Thank you for joining me for another replay battle. I hope you guys enjoyed that little trailer. I'm experimenting a little bit with my editing software and kind of what I can accomplish with my admittedly very limited skill set, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you saw something that I could do a little bit better, or that you really like and you'd like to see done in the future, I want to continue to do introductions like that for my videos. So by all means, leave a comment down in the comment section. Your feedback is always taken into account and always appreciated. But in any case, we're going to move on now. We're going to briefly go over the army compositions. There's a couple of reasons we're not going to go into detail. One, I don't know the mod very well, so I can't give you the same kind of detail that I think you're used to. And two, it's ultimately not going to matter all that much, and you guys will see exactly why. But we will take a brief look at the order of battle, starting out with the host of the Dragon Queen. Over here on the associate left, I believe this is their left wing. No, this would be their, yes, their left wing. They've got a large number of Second Sons cavalry armed with lances and javelins. They're like a medium kind of shock cavalry. They charge into the battle, but before they do, they throw their javies, which gives them a lot of extra killing power, especially on the charge. You can also use them, of course, as some kind of close-range skirmishing cavalry. Over here we have what is essentially about 8,500 Unsullied. This would probably be the entire complement that the Dragon Queen brings with her from her conquest of Slaver's Bay. So there is a lot of Unsullied here. This is a very big investment from the forces of Daenerys. We've also got 3 units of catapult, one here, one, actually they're quite nicely spread out all along the center. Also got some Second Sons with longbows. There's a few Unsullied, got some elite Unsullied here actually, quite a lot of them. I think this is like the third line. Think of them as the Triarii. Out in front we've got some Unsullied pikemen. Pikes in this game are extremely strong. They're very similar to how they function in Reforged, so if you guys are familiar with that mod, then you'll know not to run into this wall of pikes because it will fuck your day up. But in behind them, of course, we've got some more Second Sons with longbows, some more cavalry back here, some of the Dothraki Khalasar. They are essentially the rank and file of the associate cavalry. You can see they've got a lot of numbers, 200, making them much more numerous than even infantry units. So they're pretty good. Mostly they make up for their lack of armor and stopping power with their large numbers. In behind them, we got some Second Son javelins being commanded by yours truly. I'm keeping them in reserve just in case we're going to need them for some of the more close quarters combat that's sure to come with the Lannister hosts across the way from us. Over here on the Dragon Queen's right wing, we've got some Dothraki Blood Riders. They are tier 2 cavalry, not tier 3 like some of the ones across the way, but oh my god, are the Dothraki Blood Riders killing machines, and you guys are going to see that in this battle. So let's go ahead and let's move on now to the forces of the Lannisters, very distinctive in that armor from the HBO series. They've got a lot of guardsmen over here on, I believe this is their left wing, yes. They've got a large number of mounted guardsmen, 5 or 6 units of those cavalry, and behind them we've got Jaime fucking Lannister, the Golden Prince himself. You can see him right there. Actually, quite a faithful reproduction, I have to say. Looking really almost like a mannequin. The face looks good though. But their front line is composed pretty much uniquely of guardsmen armed either with spears or with sword and board. In behind them, of course, we've got the skirmishing company, some Lannister men-at-arms with longbows, and behind them they've got their own catapult pieces. I believe they have the same amount of artillery as we do. Don't know if they have... Well, they do have some Lannisport levies. These guys are either armed with crossbows or javelins, and it looks like the majority of them are armed with crossbows. But that basically doesn't... No, they've got a little bit of pike infantry as well. I think that's significantly less than what the Dragon Queen has brought to bear today. They have one unit of one of the Lannister bannermen. This is Titos Brax, who I believe died at the Battle of the Camps when... I want to call him Robb Ford. No, that's wrong. Robb Stark. When Robb Stark defeated Jaime at the Battle of the Whispering Wood, he followed that up with a successful counter attack against the forces besieging Riverrun. I believe that's where Titos Brax fell in combat. I could be wrong about that one, though. But that basically does it for the army compositions. Like I said, we're not going to go into too much detail today. I need to learn a little bit more about this mod. And most of the units tend to have the same stats anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Cavalry is cavalry, infantry is infantry. But in any case, moving on now, let's get right into the replay. I hope you guys enjoy it. And the battle has begun. You can see the Unsullied taking the initiative here. Those catapults opening fire. Let's get right in there in the thick of the action. Oh, it is a bad day to be a Lannister guardsman. Let's go ahead and let's speed that up just a little bit. Beautiful catapult volleys there, just tearing that unit asunder, lighting the foliage on fire. Nonetheless, though, these Lannister guardsmen, oh my goodness, look at those casualties. That was a beautiful direct hit. But nonetheless, the Lannisters are going to advance through the fire and the flames. They carry on towards the Essosi lines. Over here, though, let's take a look. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. The Dothraki Blood Riders taking the initiative, charging in hard against the mounted guardsmen. Oh, let's go ahead and let's speed that up. A beautiful cavalry charge there. And you can see horsemen just dying all over the place. That is one of the things that I have noticed about this mod, is that because many of the units have the same stats, and their stats are, well, of course, since they're the same stats, they're very evenly matched, things tend to melt each other like you wouldn't believe. So we've got a big infantry fight about to materialize here. Some of the Unsullied with spears taking on the guardsmen in melee. A beautiful charge there from those elite infantry, doing a lot of damage to those Lannister guardsmen. Let's go ahead and let's slow it down, because like I said, things move at a breakneck speed here. The Lannister guardsmen getting stuck in with those Unsullied, but it does not look like things are going well for them. Oh, we got an artillery volley coming in over here. Looks like they are targeting some of the reserves. Oh no, they are going for the artillery pieces themselves. You can see that entire unit just got wiped out in a single volley. Yeah, that's a very big blow to the forces of the Dragon Queen. Over here you can see another cavalry fight about to happen. The Second Sons charging hard into battle against the Lannister Knights. That did not look like it went well for the Essosi horsemen at all. Dothraki Khalasar moving in to try and back them up, but most of that unit of Second Sons just got flattened, like nearly, like well over actually 60 casualties in that initial charge. Over here you can see more and more of the Eastern Cavalry pouring in there, trying to overlap the lines of these mounted guardsmen, looking to get possibly a little bit of an encirclement here, but I don't think they have the killing power to really follow through. These heavily armored Westerosi Knights are proving, I think, what many people who watch the show and read the books have already guessed at. The lightly armored Eastern Cavalrymen are definitely going to struggle in the face of these heavily armored shock troops. Over here, the Dragon Queen's cavalry being beaten back just about everywhere. It looks like we're seeing some shattering already. Oh man, some of the Lannisters here under Gregor Clegane have now managed to scoot around the line. And you can see them going for these helpless archers here. The Second Sons just don't have an answer to this. Big charge into that unit of archers. You can see some last-minute kind of crossfire here going in to Gregor Clegane's cavalry regiment, but I don't think it's going to be enough to save them. You can see the Second Sons are really struggling hard to fight back these heavily armored knights. And those knights are just moving from target to target, just ping-ponging back and forth, running over archers every which way. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the line. Looks like some of the Unsullied with the spears have, or there's short swords rather, and spears have run into a bit of a problem. These Lannister pike blocks proving to be a very formidable portion of the battle line, the rock upon which the rest of the Lannister army is resting. You can see basically all along the line the Unsullied are really, really struggling to hold, except here where the pikemen are. But these pikes are not close enough to actually do any damage to the Lannisters. They're just kind of sitting back there, waiting their turn. Meanwhile, the elite Unsullied, and looks like some of the short sword Unsullied, are pressing the Lannisters hard. Actually, there's some longbowmen that got caught in there as well. That's really the wrong place for them to be. Down here along the line, you can see the Lannisters winning in some areas, but really struggling in others. And we're in other places, it's mostly even. But all along the line where those Unsullied pikes are, I think the Lannisters are going to really struggle to break through. Yeah, you can see it right here. They're a little bit out of formation. I'm not entirely sure what this is all about, but those Lannister guardsmen are just getting butchered. Take a look at this here. 2 pike units going up against one another. Destruction is imminent for these two forces. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at this. Getting right in there, right in the thick of it. Moving on now over to the wings. Oh, let's see if this catapult shot manages to actually connect. Oh, it's going to hit some of the routing troops as they tried to flee, blowing the arms off them. Those poor Unsullieds having a very bad day. Over here, you can see some of the Associate Cavalry, some Second Sons with javelins, some Javcav being driven back. I think this is by Tywin Lannister. No, this is Jaime Lannister himself, who has now broken through the lines on this wing as well, and is now beginning to get into the Second Sons stationed over here on the eastern right. Oh no, looks like one of the generals has now fallen. Over here, the elite Unsullied, armed with their short spears, are beating down these guardsmen. These guardsmen are just not having a fun time right now. And elsewhere, the Unsullied are doing very, very well against the Lannisters. The infantry fight seems a lot more even, but the cavalry fight, I think, has definitely gone in favor of the Westerosi, which I think is in some ways a little bit surprising because the Dothraki are essentially Mongols, and we know what the Mongols did to basically all of the world at one point or another. Western, Eastern Europe, none of them could stand up to their horsemen. Over here, we've got some elite Unsullied chasing, looks like Tytos Brax out of battle. The rest of these Unsullied, I think this is actually a regiment under Barristan Selmy himself, looking to encircle this general's bodyguard here, and you can see things are not going well. Tytos Brax is going to want to pull himself out of that engagement as quickly as possible. A little bit farther down the line, you can see this pike fight that we were observing earlier. The Unsullied alongside some of the Unsullied pikemen are pushing hard against these Lannisters. You can see a little bit of ranged fire support coming in from the Second Sons, firing now into the rear of this unit of Lannister guardsmen, who I think maybe came back from routing, but are just kind of sitting here, not really doing a whole lot at this point. Down the line, though, it's still looking a little bit even, although it seems like the Lannisters have managed to break through the Unsullied, surprisingly enough, in full retreat. This is obviously not lore accurate. The Unsullied tend to fight to the death. They feel no fear and no pain. They're kind of like our own little Eastern Space Marines. But for the purposes of gameplay, they are able to rout, and routing they are, after taking very, very heavy casualties. Oh man, just look at the destruction here all along this line. The Lannisters have actually managed to come out on top over closer to the Associate left wing. Things not looking great for the forces of the Dragon Queen. This is looking to be a crushing, crushing defeat. Grey Worm himself has been committed to the fight. He's now beating back a unit of Lannister guardsmen who are shaken. We could see a little bit of routing here. Maybe that'll allow the Unsullied to kind of sweep aside some of this wing. But I think with the presence of these Lannister pikes and a lot of their victorious forces in the center, things are... It's going to be a vain gesture, essentially. These two very understrength units are not going to be able to swing the tide of the battle in favor of their queen. So let's take a quick look there at the tactical map. Yeah, you can see that the Lannisters have broken the center. The Associates are holding on the wings, but largely their forces have been very, very heavily defeated very quickly. And you can see some of the victorious cavalry of the Lannisters getting stuck in the fight. Jaime Lannister himself fighting back against some of the Unsullied pikemen of all things, but they are now routing. Some fire arrows over here are going to help the rest of these units be seen off the battlefield. Although we do see some rallying here. Some of the elite Unsullied, a couple of very healthy-looking units moving in to try and assault the Lannister center. But it looks like the Lannisters under Tywin Lannister, a regiment of cavalry under Tywin himself, has moved in and is beginning to harass the advance of these elite Unsullied. At the same time, they are being peppered with arrows, and you can see a lot of them beginning to fall. This blob here beginning to fall apart very, very quickly. Oh, that poor man. Yeah, this is just absolute destruction. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things I've noticed about this mod is that things tend to die really, really quickly, and you can see that in action. Oh, some beautiful, beautiful charges here from those elite Unsullied. They have managed to hold it together. They've managed to make contact with the Lannister lines, but it's just not going to be enough. They are now being overlapped, driven back, and another couple volleys of fire arrows are going to see those guys off the battlefield permanently. They are now shattered. A merciless charge here. I think that's still Tywin's regiment. Yep. Seeing off the rest of the survivors, cutting down as many of the Dragon Queen soldiers as possible so that they cannot reform and become a nuisance at a later date. Yeah, this is truly an apocalyptic struggle. So let's go ahead And let's slow it down just a little bit here and take a look at some of the damage, especially along this center line. Thousands upon thousands of troops. And you guys saw the numbers. That is how quickly everybody died in this battle. Like, it is absolutely nuts. Total graveyard over here. Looks like some of the Lannisters fighting a small band of Unsullied, driving back what remains of the Dragon Queen soldiery. Oh man, it was just a massacre here. The Second Sons and the Dothraki really struggled against those Westeros United. You can actually see a few of them just kind of floating around. I'm pretty sure those guys are dead, though. It's just the ghost of some of those dead knights and some of the Second Sons as well. So there you have it. A very brief but very bloody battle. Actually, let's take a look at some of the casualties. I did the math for this, and there was about 18,000 or so men that died in the space of about 8 minutes, which means that about 37.5 men died per second, making it a massacre without precedent. I'm pretty sure during the first day of the Battle of the Somme, British forces suffered attrition at the rate of about 1 man kill every 4.4 seconds. So you can see the disparity there. This is literally the biggest military disaster that has ever been in human history. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you are as excited for Game of Thrones Season 7 as I am. There's going to be some more Seven Kingdom content coming your way in the next few weeks, especially as the season progresses. As there are new battles and new events and things like that, we can recreate them on this wonderful mod for Attila. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you'll join me next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye!